Hi, boys and girls. Guess who's back? The instructor. He is I and I am him. Slim with a tilted brim. That was a Snoop Dogg quote from 1994. All right, so what we were talking about are the different types of plate boundaries. Divergent plate boundaries. All the kids were asking, Mr. Carter, what are divergent plate boundaries? Please tell us. We're going to cry if you don't tell us. Calm down, kids. Dry them up. Divergent plate boundaries are when the plates are pushed apart. Divide, divergent. You should be writing. Divide, divergent. The plate is coming apart. Okay? Now, at a divergent plate boundary, because the plates are coming apart, the asthenosphere is underneath there, you're going to have an upwelling of magma. Whoop. Okay? So whenever you think divergent plate boundary, you should think there's going to be some kind of igneous activity. There's going to be some kind of volcanoes. There's going to be something involving magma. Okay? This happens in continental crust and oceanic. An example of continental crust would be the Great Rift Valley in East Africa. Under the ocean, when it happens, you might look up in your spare time, Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Anyone ever heard of that?
I've heard of that.
Okay, now, because I'm a kind man, I'm gonna give you guys an opportunity for extra credit. You want 2 points? You give me a 2-minute presentation on topics like that, the Great Rift Valley or the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, okay? We'll hook you up with 2 for 2, all right? Magma's coming out, and we form underwater mountain chains is what happens in the ocean. As we move away, as we move away this way, the older rock is here. The newer rock is going to be closer to the rift, if you will. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good stuff. Oh, look at that. Look at it. Look at that magma. And we go from tall to more of a sloping scenario in there. The largest mountain range in the United States, okay, well, I would say in the world, is underwater, the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Yeah, it's not in the United States, it's in the ocean. But you get the point. Let's keep going. So, divergent plate boundary, you're also going to, there we go. So, lots of volcanoes will form, rift valleys, we talked about mid-ocean ridges. These are some examples where you'll see that. You can Google in your spare time. In your spare time. If you need more time, of course, because this will be posted, you can come back and look at it. Convergent plate boundaries, the plates are coming together. You will not form volcanoes. There won't be volcanic activity. Normally, if continental plates are converged, I take that back. If it's continental plates, you won't form volcanoes. Let's see, this is what you're gonna form. Huge mountains, like the Himalayas, would be if 2 continental plates. See that? These are continental plates coming together. It's called an orogeny. We believe it takes millions of years. Obviously, we have only been alive for 40-something years, but when we study this, we have to put a lot of pieces to the puzzle together. We believe this takes place over millions of years. Over here, anytime you get oceanic plates, I don't care if it's an ocean and an ocean plate, oceanic and continental, you will always, you should write this down, anytime ocean plates are involved in convergence, there will always be volcanoes formed, okay? This is where we get the ocean plate diving beneath the lesser or the more dense, the lesser dense, so the more dense sinks here, we call that a subduction zone, and somewhere close to the subduction zone down here is where you'll find yourself with some kind of volcanic mountains, okay? volcanic mountains. If it's two ocean plates, you get like a volcanic arc. It'll be a chain of volcanic islands. If it's oceanic and continental plate colliding, you'll have volcanoes normally formed near the coastal line, okay? On land, but near the coast, okay? I think we got St. Helens pretty close to the coast out west, don't we? So we got the North American plate, the Pacific plate colliding. Are you guys with me? Am I making sense here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Yada, yada, yada. We already talked about that. Subduction zone, you're gonna get oceanic crust diving beneath less dense crust. These are some visuals. You can come back and take a peek at this volcanic arc. So again, oceanic, continental, you see what we got there, volcanic chain, volcanoes in the mountains, if you will, yada, yada, yada. Oh, look at that, beautiful. And this is an example, they're just showing you examples. Again, now we've got oceanic and oceanic, we still get volcanic islands there. You're always gonna have volcanoes if there's oceanic convergence of any kind. Okay? And we already talked about continental versus continental. Last one, let's talk about transform fault boundaries. This is when the plates slide past each other. Okay? This is the type of plate boundary where you're gonna find lots of earthquakes. I don't wanna say a lot, but geologically a lot. It doesn't mean like a lot to you. They're not like every day or every other day. But see, these babies are sliding past each other. What happens is you have rock against rock, and it's not smooth like the picture indicates. Think of jagged rock, jagged edges here, okay? And they get stuck, but they keep, the convection cells are still causing these to move or want to move even though they're stuck. So when they break free of each other, there's a slippage that occurs, and that's when the earthquake happens. I mean, we're not talking about two pieces of paper or like your hands, but if there's a slip with two plates, there's gonna be a lot of energy released. That's called an earthquake. Does that make sense? You and I know where a very famous fault line is, don't we? Transform fault boundary where? Come on, somebody. I'll give you 1/10 of a bonus point. Are you guys serious right now? Is this some kind of sick joke? Rhymes with Malapornia? Yes! Yes! How did you know it?
Pretty smart, yeah.
You guys have been reading, haven't you? I can tell. Yeah. So California, okay, runs right through the LA area. That fault line is called the what? All right, you can Google that in your spare time. It's very famous. You should know that one. But that's the fault boundaries. Was it to say on there what the, oh, there it is.
Sure does.
Look at where she is. I'd never move in this region. Very beautiful here, but I'm not moving there because the longer we go without having one, the worse it's gonna be when it happens. It's gonna be bad, believe me, and I don't wanna be there.
Have you guys ever heard about people saying that part of California is gonna fall into the Pacific Ocean?
Fools.
That's why. Because that fault line is there. It's a crack in the Earth's crust. You can literally see it.
Crackle region.
Yeah,
The problem with the fall in the ocean theory is those are non-sciencey people saying that.
Yep.
Remember, this is very thick and it's sitting on top of oceanic crust, right? So this runs all the way down, and two, it's not like this is floating in the water. Are you following what I'm saying? There's no falling in the ocean. If anything, if worst case scenario, if this slides that way and this slides that way for many, 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 many years, you would just have two separate entities. I'm making sense here. Tell your parents nothing's falling in the ocean. It's foolish. All right, how many minutes am I at?
9.
All right. Bye, boys and girls. I must go now.